expressed on the following program are those of the host and not necessarily those of staff, management, or ownership.
Phoenix, this is Brother Mike back on the radio. Welcome to the program. You are about to listen to the nastiest Christian radio broadcast in the country. You're going to get the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And we don't care who likes it. We haven't for the last 17 years. Can you imagine that? Been on the radio here with you and me together for 17 years. Can you imagine that? Infanticide. Today on Hardcore. Hey, will you call somebody and tell them the radio program's on while I do my announcements? This is going to be a very interesting program. In addition to polygamy, physician-assisted suicide, euthanasia, in our future, we now have infanticide in our future. The devil is unloading the wagon on the United States of America. We are in deep trouble in this crazy country. This is Brother Mike. I'm the professional counselor at the Arizona Deliverance Center in Central Phoenix. We're on 15th Avenue, just south of Osborne Road. On the website, hardcorechristianity.com. We have all of our services. Our main ones are, number one, the healing rooms, Thursday night. Number two, the teaching service on Friday night. We also have a healing and deliverance service on Fridays after the teaching. Thursday nights is booming with the anointing. The healing rooms, you wouldn't believe the number of people getting healed and delivered from demons. We have a mental illness healing class every Thursday night at 7 o'clock as well. It's in the small sanctuary. When you come in the front door, turn right, go down to the small sanctuary. You know, a born-again Christian who's mentally ill. I'm talking about anxiety disorders, depression, bipolar, the usual run-of-the-mill mental illnesses in church. Or if they have other severe illnesses, schizophrenia, schizoaffective, borderline personality disorder, what have you, Thursday night, 7 p.m. May God richly bless you. The website has our next seminar. You can sign up for our free seminars every month. Our last one on the gifts of the Spirit was huge crowd, very interested people. The material was fantastic. I mean, it was really worth your while to come to these seminars. They are free. Obviously, there's no charge. And the PayPal button, you keep sending us donations for the last 17 years. You've been supporting us, and we thank you for that. We thank you for all your kind donations. We bought the Arizona Deliverance Center. It's a fabulous facility, and we paid cash for it. How did we do that? Because of you. Thank you for your kindness. Infanticide is now on Satan's list to butcher the United States of America. He's got a bunch of other stuff coming right at us. I mentioned it earlier, euthanasia, physician-assisted suicide, polygamy, all that stuff's coming down the pike. Transgendered is already here. But infanticide is absolutely incredible. We're turning into China over here. In China, that is a godless country. They hate Muslims and Christians. China is, staggeringly under the control of Satan. They are literally the pits. And the underground church there is 10 times more powerful than the church here in America. But in China, they abort kids like somebody's popping M&Ms in your mouth. They don't even care. They have 20 to 25 million abortions a year. We have approximately 2 million or thereabouts, something like that. I don't remember the exact figures. But they also, killing kids in China is just like another thing. Well, guess what? It's coming here. And killing children has always been a part of humanity. Matthew chapter 2, Herod, when he saw he was mocked of the wise men, he was exceedingly wroth. Thumao is the Greek word for wrath there. It means he flew into a fit of rage. He sent forth and murdered all the children in Bethlehem and in all the coasts thereof from 2 years old and under, according to the time which he had inquired of the wise men. This was fulfilled by the prophet Jeremiah. Jeremiah chapter 31, the great prophecy of infanticide. Thus saith the Lord, a voice was heard in Ramah, lamentation, bitter weeping, Rachel, weeping for her children, she refused to be comforted for her children because they were not. Can you imagine it? Now, the reason he went for 2 years and not 3, the reason he went for 2 years and not 1, because Jesus was about 2 years old at the time. Because when the wise men came to visit him, they saw his star and he had just been born. So this was about 2 years later. And Herod, he was a cold-blooded killer. He was very similar to Stalin or Hitler. And the child was 2 years old, and the wise men saw him as a child. The Magi found him, and the Greek word was paidein. Paidein means a toddler. The shepherds saw Jesus when he was an infant or a baby. That's the Greek word brephos. So he was a baby or a newborn, brephos, when the shepherds saw him. And when the Magi saw him, he was a toddler 2 years later, or approximately 2 years later. The Greek word was paidein. Check this out. In the United States, as I mentioned, we have far fewer abortions than they have in China, but obviously we got a lot less people too. But we're trying to catch up with China. We want to be like China. And it's kind of working. Here's the deal. Quote, Florida reported in 2017, 11 infants were born alive following botched abortion. 6 were born alive in 2018. Florida law does include protections for born alive babies. Arizona said in 2017, they reported 10 fetuses or embryos were delivered alive following an abortion. Minnesota reported in 2017, 3 babies were born alive following an abortion. Oklahoma in 2017 wouldn't give out the information. Quote, House Minority Whip Steve Scalise is pushing forward with legislation that would save the lives of babies born after a botched abortion. The Louisiana Republican said, quote, all the Democrats who ran saying they were pro-life, this is going to be the true test. Scalise and the U.S. Representative Ann Wagner from Missouri are introducing a discharge petition next week that would force a vote on the Born Alive Survivors Protection Act, BASPA. The measure would give legal protection to infants who are born alive after an abortion. House Democrats have blocked requests to pass the bill by unanimous consent. They've blocked it 20 times. With the infanticide debate and late-term abortion up till birth laws threatening the lives of viable babies, critics say current federal policies do not sufficiently protect babies who are born alive following an attempted abortion. What blows my mind, folks, is that animals have all kinds of laws to protect them. For example, just recently, a new law took effect last Tuesday in California. Did you know that? They're the first state to ban the sale of non-rescue animals in pet shops. You can't sell animals that have come through breeders because in California they feel that the habitat that the animals are bred in aren't humane enough. So they passed a law saying that you could only sell rescue animals in California because they need homes. We don't want any bred animals anymore because they grow up in bad conditions. Can you imagine that? In California, an animal is more important than a human being. It's amazing. The Animal Welfare Act was signed into law in 1966. It's the primary federal animal protection law. It involves animals kept at zoos and in laboratories. Can you imagine that? Under this law, you are not allowed to do certain painful behaviors and activities with animals. They're protected because they don't want them hurt or abused. How about the Humane Shelter Act or the Humane Methods of Livestock Slaughter Act? This law first passed in 1958 and was amended in 1978. This act requires that animals be stunned into unconsciousness before slaughter to minimize pain. Can you imagine that? That's unbelievable. In an abortion, the doctor goes into the womb and chops up the child. They chop the child up in some cases and take it out in pieces. But according to the Humane Methods of Livestock Slaughter Act, you have to stun the animal into unconsciousness before you slaughter it because it hurts. The Endangered Species Act, created in 1973, protects fish, mammals, and birds, as well as plants listed under the endangered species, threatened to be endangered species. They're protected. Birds and fish are protected. Human beings who are also endangered species have no protections whatsoever. The Migratory Bird Treaty Act made it illegal to take, possess, import, export, transport, sell, purchase, barter, or offer for sale, for purchase or barter, any migratory bird or the parts of the bird, the nests or the eggs of such a bird, except under the terms of a valid federal permit. Did you know that in all 50 states and the District of Columbia, there are anti-cruelty laws protecting cats? Cats. That's right. Yes, cats are more important than human beings. You believe that? Folks, Satan is coming for us. It's time for us to mount a counterattack. It's time for you to bag your Mickey Mouse Christian life. Why don't you come to the Arizona Deliverance Center and learn spiritual warfare? We have so many people coming for healing and deliverance. My staff is insufficient to handle it. I need people coming for training and who want to be in this type of ministry. We need help. The devil is putting cats above humans.
The views expressed on this program are those of the host and not necessarily those of staff, management, or ownership. This program was sponsored by Michael W. Smith.